they're assuming people might be upset about it and they just don't want to put themselves on that front line. So that begs the question, like, do these businesses and fitness centers need to start hiring like bouncers? I mean, fitness centers okay because everyone's there is buff already. Sam, good morning, Sam.
Unmute.
Unmute. It's been so long you forgot your Zoom basics.
Sorry about that. Good morning, KU. I'm Familia.
Good morning.
morning.
Sam, of course, from Custom Fitness. They do the fitness side. They also do physical therapy. And just really looking for frontline implementation of this executive order. Custom Fitness, 8 o'clock. You guys started checking the vaccination status of your customers?
We did, and luckily for us, most of our members are supportive, and most of them are vaccinated. But of course, there has been a little bit of pushback, even from vaccinated members, that they don't feel like they want to have to prove their status. It's a little bit difficult to go after Miss Rose with her very eloquent statement. I agree with pretty much everything that she said, and at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I don't want to repeat a lot of the concerns that she made. But I just feel like we're kind of being put in the position where the private sector is the one that has to enforce these mandates without any type of training or, I don't know how to verify whether a vaccination record is, valid or counterfeit. And, I do believe, I'm not going to go into, whether I'm not going to force people to get vaccinated if they, some people legitimately have real reasons not to be, and I think that's between them and their doctor. And I just don't understand how I'm supposed to enforce this mandate without really any support or what the logistics are going to go behind having to make sure that everyone is vaccinated.
How nervous are you? How nervous are you that come September, was it 6th?
You could get fines.
Yeah, if you're not doing it right. If you're not checking, if you're not...
What are the fines, Bree?
The fines for businesses?
Yeah, and individuals. Like, let's say businesses, right? So
it's different levels. So the first offense, sorry.
There's levels to this.
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
I think it's $1,000
for the first fine. For the first offense, excuse me. It's $1,000 for the first offense. Then it goes incrementally up.
Wow.
You
So
have it on the screen?
just on the enforcement end of that, how does that even work? Are public health or GPD, are they going to actually go into the fitness center and then ask everyone to show their proof of vax? And if they don't have one, then you guys are getting slapped with $1,000 fine?
Yeah.
And even just if we're talking about, 80% of the island is vaccinated and it's only 20% that are the holdouts. If it's proportionate, it's also our membership base where 80% are vaccinated and 20% are not. Even a loss of 20% of business for us after the year we had last year is a significant amount. So whether we lose the 20% or we get, fined $1,000, either way, we're, kind of put in a precarious situation. And we still adhere to most of the restrictions that were enforced ever since last June. We still have, this dedicated spaces for each member, all the additional protocols, the, social distancing, the hand washing, the sanitizing, all of that. So, even if they're unvaccinated and if the herd immunity, is applicable, then, they should be okay. And especially having the this space distance between us.
Yeah.
I think I just don't see what more we can do. And, I feel like a lot of places that have been the sources of the clusters weren't listed on the EO. And I'm wondering, what do they have that we don't? The restaurants and, the fitness centers and a lot of these smaller places, we've, cut down our capacity. We've done all these additional things. And I just feel like we're being used kind of like as the scapegoat to force people to get vaccinated when, it's really about informed choices. Forcing people to get them to get vaccinated is not going to encourage them to do so.
Yeah.
They already have whatever reason they have. Saying that they can't go places is not really, I don't think, going to be a good catalyst for them to change their minds.
Right. So it sounds like you're kind of saying that, we have done everything possible. We followed every single protocol that you've asked us to do, but this right here, it just crosses the line. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I mean, I'll do my part. If
You
I'll
have been.
verify as much as I can. I mean, it just kind of stings a little bit, after everything that we've been through, that
Yeah,
we're the
yeah.
ones that kind of have to
You're right.
do the enforcement. And we, like you said, like, do I need, we don't have the staff to, I mean, luckily I'm already in the office, so I can verify, but we don't, we're primarily class-based. We have, a bunch of people coming in at one time, the delay of having to verify each record. And, we do know our members by name, so I don't need to luckily check their ID on top of it to verify that the name matches. But, it's, and I understand, everyone's in a hard position, and we don't want the hospitalizations to go up. And we want people to get vaccinated and stay healthy. But again, I think a lot of people have made, an informed decision, and that's between them and their doctor. And that's not my place to tell them that they can't come in and get healthy when we're the perfect place that they should be to be, building up their immune system and staying active. And, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in the position. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician, and I'm not a scientist. I just, I'm kind of trying to figure out how am I.
Yeah, you're just stuck there having to do the governor's dirty work, is basically what it is. But I want to key in on something that you had said about the herd immunity, and you're right. And I think people, first things first, this administration has zero credibility. So there's that when they put out an executive order, or the way they make these decisions in the dead of night, or the way the governor drops these huge pronouncements on us and then runs off to some imaginary engagement, people have huge issues with that. And that's part of why they have huge issues with this executive order, because it's just one thing after another. You don't want to pay the rise. We got the all rise. We don't want a spending plan. You're mandating the vaccination. So to me, this has kind of like been ramping up for a while, and that's why you're seeing this backlash. But going back to what you had said about the herd immunity, I kind of have to agree, because people said that was the standard that we needed to reach. So what is the end game here? Is the end game 100% vaccination? And if it is, why weren't we told that from the start? Because I think that we know what works, and it's wearing the masks and doing the social distancing. And if there are people in our community who just don't want to get the vaccine, I think that's a valid reason. Like, if you just don't want to get it, that's your choice. But we know what works in preventing the spread, and vaccination does not prevent the spread of COVID. And so when the governor makes all of these changes because of the rising number of cases, not the rising number, that's what they say, the rising number of cases, vaccination doesn't affect transmission. Vaccinated, unvaccinated, we can all spread it. And I think that's why people are just having this huge problem. I mean, outside of, it's an infringement on their rights and all that stuff, it's a huge problem for them. And now here comes Sam having to check everyone's badge at the door. I mean, little old Sam. I mean, it's tough.
I mean, I'll do it at the end of the day if that's what I have to do. But, I hate having to ask my staff to do it. I have 18-year-olds. I don't want them to have to go toe-to-toe with some guy that's like, what, it's my right, and you have no right to ask me. I mean, I just don't want to have to put other people in that position. And I just don't think that putting these mandates on these businesses is going to encourage anybody to get the vaccination. Yeah. I mean, if that was the goal of this, I don't think it's going to have the effect that was intended.
Right.
Like I said, I mean, everyone's in a hard situation. I don't envy. I don't know. I can't say I would do better if I were in someone else's position. I think, we're trying, but I think it is important to listen to the voice of the community, especially the small businesses, because we're the ones that give back to the community. We're the ones that employ locals. We're the ones that, support different community charities and whatnot. And I don't think to put the onus on us to be the police for this is really something that I signed up for.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, according to this executive order, if you don't do it, Custom Fitness will be fined, along with all the other businesses, right, that this is applicable to. And, I respect the choice of, like, Leonard and Tara, to do what they feel is right. And I mean, everyone has to make the choice for themselves. And like I said, putting on a mandate is not going to
I think, have the intended effect that they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think it's going to bring down the positive cases.
I think it's important that maybe social gatherings are, modified, like everything that Mary Rhodes said, reducing social gatherings. A lot of these places that are were sources of, clusters in the beginning with like the churches or the bingo halls. I didn't notice any of them on the list. So that kind of, I'm just wondering, how can I get us removed from the list and put someone else on there? Or I don't know if there's that option.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, we wish you the best of luck, and as you businesses like yours navigate this latest executive order. But we're going to continue on with our show.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's bring in Attorney Jackie
Good luck,
Terlahi.
Good luck.
Right. Mel, Will, God, I'm so sorry, guys. We're going to close with you too. But Attorney Jackie Terlahi